Hey guys, so today I wanted to make a video to show you how to change the headphone jack in the iPhone 5C. So first of all, before we get started, I just wanted to go over a few things that we're going to be needing today. And let's start with this. It's a plastic pry tool and a tweezers. You won't necessarily need all this stuff, but I just wanted to show you what I'm going to be using. We're going to be using these two screwdrivers. Now you will need these. This is a Phillips size 000 and it's a Torx size 0. So you're going to be needing those to doing any of these procedures on the iPhone. And we're also going to be using this suction cup tool here, and I'll explain in a bit what this is for. And I'll include links in the video description where I got these parts to fix the phone, where I got these tools to work on the phones, anything that I think might be helpful to you. I'll include links in the video description, so check them out there. So next what we're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab the phone, and you're going to want to use this Torx size 0, and you're going to want to remove these two screws right here on the bottom. I already got them removed, but I just wanted to show you they're located right there, so go ahead and remove those. So next what we're going to do is we're going to grab the phone, and we're going to grab this tool right here, and I'll explain in a bit how we use this, but basically you're going to just slide this in here, and you're going to go just above the home button, and right there just so you clear the home button, and you want to press down. Now if you have a broken screen where it's cracked right here so you can't get good suction, what you can do is put some clear plastic packaging tape over this, and then it'll give this suction cup something to grab onto. Now what most people recommend and what they use is just these little suction cup tools, which you can use these, but it's so much easier in a way. These things aren't very much, they're like $8 I think for a tool like this, and it makes it so much easier because what you can do is just pry this apart like that, just like that. And sometimes there's like lint and stuff. If you have it in your pocket, your phone can have lint and stuff build up in these cracks here. Sometimes they come apart really hard with this, because what you want to do, if you do pry up with one of these, just be careful that you don't pry in here with something sharp and damage your frame on your phone here. That's the biggest concern. So if you can get it up just a little bit, then you can usually pry something under one of these little slots right here and finish it off that way. But that's my main concern and caution for you guys, is if you don't have a tool like this and you use the other suction cup tool, you're probably gonna, one way or the other, you're gonna need something suction cup. But so let's go ahead and continue on with the screen. So now that we've taken the suction cup tool off of the screen here, what we can do is just set the screen down and just carefully lift up, as you can see, like this, and then go ahead and remove with the Phillips screwdriver. This is the Phillips size 000 like I was showing you, and you're going to want to go ahead and remove 4 screws here from this plate right there, and go ahead and remove that shield, and just make sure that you put the screws in the right order when you take them off. That way you know how they go back together, because they're all different sizes, some of them, so you want to make sure you do that. And now I'm using a plastic pry tool. You can use your fingernails if you want, whatever you can get in there with. I recommend sticking with plastic just so you don't damage anything. If you use a metal, you can use something metal, but just be really careful if you do. And just go ahead and remove this connector right here. Remove this connector right here. And then this one over here. So those 3 connectors come apart, and then the screen comes off just like that. So next what we're going to want to do is take the Phillips screwdriver and remove these 2 screws right here in this plate. So next what you will want to do is remove this connector right here with a pry tool or something, or even your thumb, and then you're going to remove this connector right here. And then we're also going to need to remove this antenna wire right here, this little gold one, and you can use whatever you need to remove that, just carefully. And then using the Phillips screwdriver, remove all these screws that you see in here, any ones that you can see. So there's 7 screws right here. Make sure to remove all these screws. Make sure to keep track of them so you know how they come out and what order they go back in. So next what we're going to want to do is right here where these connectors are here, we're going to want to slide under this. We need to take this off. There's little pegs there, and it just has adhesive under it. What we need to do is we need to pick that up and get that out of the way. And then what we can do is use something to pry with. I'm just going to use the tweezers here. Carefully get under this loudspeaker here. Then the loudspeaker comes out of your way. So next, to change this charging port flex cable here that has the headphone jack built into it, the microphone built into it, and the charging port built into it. So if you need to change any of these, you're going to need to replace this whole part. So now that we got this all ready, what we're going to do is we're just going to carefully pull up here on this part right here. It's just stuck down with adhesive. Then we're going to carefully pull up, and we're going to kind of pull up on this whole thing. And then what we can do is just kind of pull up like this. And there's adhesive that's a little stuck here on the charging port part. Just pull carefully and it'll come out just like that, the whole part. So what you're going to want to do is, for one thing, is you're going to want to swap out this rubber part here for the microphone onto your new part. It just slips off and slips back on. And then when you're all set, you want to peel the adhesive film on the back side of it, anywhere where there's film. Then you just grab your part and you set it down here. And what I like to do is start with the headphone jack over here, because you kind of have to keep it tipped up a little bit to set that down in there. And then once that's ready, then I like to just work my way over. Just grab I'm going to use my tweezers here so you can see easier. And you want to put the microphone on that little plastic nubbin that sticks out. Make sure that's on there. And then you want to set your charging port in place. And you can kind of feel you can see when the screw holes line up here. You can also kind of feel when it clicks in like that. And then just make sure everything's stuck down where it needs to go. Just keep pushing it down there. And then we'll just go ahead and set our loudspeaker down in here. And then go ahead and put all your screws back in. Next, we're going to want to grab this part and stick it back down. Now you're just going to want to line the pegs up and push down. Make sure the adhesive sticks down good there. And then we're going to want to grab this antenna wire right here and reconnect this. It can be a little tricky, but just make sure you get it down on there. And just make sure to keep it kind of square. That helps sometimes when you're trying to press it down. Just be careful you don't damage anything. Make sure this wire is laying in this little track on here on the speaker. And then we'll go ahead and reconnect. So go ahead and reconnect this connector right here. And then we'll also go ahead and reconnect the battery connector. You can kind of feel them both pop in there. Then we'll just grab this shield, set it down on there. Go ahead and put your 2 screws back in. So to reassemble, just grab your screen, and if you get down here close, just go ahead and start with this connector right here and just put that right down in place. You can hear, so you can kind of feel it click in. That one's a little bit tricky, but then just go ahead and do this next one. That one's a little easier to hear. Then you want to do the last one. Now just make sure they feel like they're all seated properly. And then you're going to want to grab your shield and set it down on there. And go ahead and put your 4 screws back in the right order. So once you have all your screws in your shield there, you can go ahead and just set this down carefully. Then what we're going to want to do is, as we tip up a little bit like this, we're going to want to get this top in first. And then we're going to just want to carefully set the phone down and just press down and work our way down around. Make sure it's down flush all the way around. And then go ahead and put your 2 screws back in the bottom. And then you're all set. Thanks for watching.